I'm recording this on Sunday. We've got the first live stream tomorrow, which is really exciting. So this video, we've been getting a lot of questions about, okay, so what time do I need to arrive there? So we've been sending emails to those who we have heard are, so all the list of those who have been identified as the speakers for your flow for tomorrow, as well as other questions on, okay, well, if I'm doing the speaking, how do I then do the meet and greet? So this video is to clarify all that, as well as to give you some good tips. First off, thank you for everything you have been doing, and thank you for understanding the time sensitive of everything, because we're trying to get everything up and running, and we need to do that for everybody. Otherwise, it's not up and running. So thank you, thank you, thank you. As far as the live stream and meet and greets go, consider them two separate things that are connected, but the individuals, since that person's going to need to be on campus, they might not have access to a computer that they then want to sit at for another hour, hour and a half, depending on how long you're going to run yours. They've been advertised as an hour, but we're not going to stop you from keeping going. If you're having good conversation with people, keep having good conversation with people. But that being said, for the meet and greets, highly, highly, highly recommend that it is somebody different running that than the person who is speaking, because A, there's a ton of traffic in town right now, and B, you don't want to assume that they're going to have the energy to do that. So you're going to also want to have your meet and greet up about 20, 30 minutes before the live stream ends, because they're going to learn about how to access the meet and greet, and they might peruse and find you early. That's fine. They can have both things open at the same time. Completely fine. Again, we're trying to increase engagement, so all that works. But that means that you're going to want somebody available during when the other individual would be at the live stream. So that's not going to work. The other person can hop on and talk about things. That'd be great. But really want to make sure that you have two different people doing that. And then whoever is leading not the live stream, but the meet and greet, you're going to want somebody else moderating. So going through the videos, things like that. And I'm going to go over the live stream logistics at the end of this, but I know the meet and greet is where more of you are going to be involved. So I'm going to cover more of that first. So how should the meet and greet look? So remember when you were tabling, and and you might have been this person when you were getting involved in things, or as you continue to get involved with things, but when you would go up to the table, but you didn't really feel comfortable asking a question yet, right? And you just kind of wanted to listen. So you want to design the experience for that. You want them to be able to come in and listen and look, and then maybe choose to engage with you more over time. That's why the process is a little longer. We made sure that the informationals, so the actual informationals, that those are staggered, so that way they can engage with you more. And increase their comfort level, because they're not getting the other interactions. So we're providing more ways for you to give them interactions. So what that looks like, though, as well as remember, we've got the live stream tomorrow, but then we have 2 other live streams. And while I'm talking about that real quick, all flow recruitment goes on till the 26th. So we've got the live stream the 17th, 25th, and 27th. Individual flow recruitment starts the 26th. Because people need to learn about getting involved. They haven't had the typical filters that will push them to that, or knowing that they should be doing that. And so it's very, very, very important to push people to get involved, period, and to find Slack, and then to learn about, oh yeah, this thing is cool. I want to join a flow. And then they get to hone in which flow they want, or which flows they want to apply for, by going through that process. It's channeling them to one place, makes it easier on them. It's instead of saying, okay, here's 20 different roads you can walk down one. And then they realize that there's more and more and more. It's really important from a user experience to do that. That's why there are now 60 yard signs across campus with QR codes that will direct them to the FLAC website. And then as we get closer to the applications being due, they will switch what that QR code goes to, and that'll be then towards the application, right? So pushing them to learn and immerse and marinate and get to know y'all, but then really channel in as we get closer. Okay, so going back to the meet and greet. I'm currently on Zoom, so what you're going to do is you're actually going to, I'm going to switch tabs. You're going to want to go to flac.tamu.edu. and click on the schedule tab, which, by the way, if you're curious, you can watch the informational here. So we've already got it here, or you can go to the YouTube channel. You can also click here to subscribe. I'm already subscribed, obviously, and be notified of any videos as they come out, which is important because once we can start going live, you can click that because you'll get an email, and then you'll put it on your social media of like, tune into this to learn about us. That'd be very good to do. And you can learn about other information that's on here, and we'll switch these out as we have the different live streams coming. But you can subscribe to all of those live streams because they're already on YouTube and set to premiere. Okay, so again, you can learn more about the flows here, of course, but the schedule tab is where you're going to want to focus for the meet and greets and your informationals. Meet and greets and informationals all use the same link. So if you're in AFC, you're going to use tx.ag/AFCflow. It had to be at least 4 characters. Sorry, AFC, but there's a couple other ones, but fast had something else already going on. So we have typical nomenclature for all of these. This link is the active Zoom link. So if I was to open this, it will pull up Zoom. And I know that because they're all also set to record. And if you are somebody who is added in as a host on your thing already, so your top student leaders, those who had a verified A&M account back a month and a half ago when we created it, which is pretty much all of you except for like 5 to 10. So the top student leaders, you've been getting emails from Zoom of like, hey, here's the recording. And you're probably like, we didn't have an informational yet. That's because these links are live. And you can use the recording for whatever purposes you want, by the way. So we have a short ad break, and I'm going to show you that during the live stream overview real quick, where we're going to direct freshmen to go here. So that way they know how to get here. And we also talk about it in 2 other videos, one of which will also be played during the live stream, and another one's on another part of the FLAC website and on the FLAC YouTube, which is on how to apply and learn about the flows. So these links will go to your Zoom room, and then what you're going to want to do is have somebody who's the host, right? Now, what's important to know is Zoom is built in a way where they have to have A&M credentials. Now, they've been luckily learning about this through new student conferences. So unlike y'all and having to get it all set up for the first time, they've already had to conquer this hurdle during the summer, and new student conferences help them through that, which is great. So you'll only have A&M people hop on. But again, you need to remember that you need to account for the awkward person who it's just awkward to have these conversations, who might not feel comfortable yet, and wanting to just listen to your content. So what you're going to want to do, I'm over in Zoom now, as you can hopefully see, and I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to share not that screen. I want desktop 1. Sorry, I have all sorts of things open, y'all. It is that time of the year. Desktop 1. Duh, it's the one right in front of me. Okay. Sure. So I'm in here, and obviously you can see the PowerPoint, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to do presentation mode. Which actually, so quick note, if you have it set where if you have dual monitors, this is what presentation mode will look like. So you're going to want to make sure to test this in advance. So I did this on purpose, so that way you make sure that you're sharing the thing you want to share. So I'm actually going to share my other screen, because that's the one with the actual presentation on it, because that's how presentation mode goes. Okay. Let me actually, because I'm screen recording, so I'm not, sorry, technical difficulties, y'all. Okay, we're just going to go about this a different way. Okay, so I'm going to share screen, and I'm just going to do desktop 1. I need y'all to imagine that this is in presentation mode. It's hard for me to do that right now because I am screen capturing what is on this particular desktop view. I'm not recording this via Zoom. So that's how this is working. Thank you for understanding. So imagine this slide is on is your presentation, right? So I want you to make it big. So this is what we recommend. We recommend having a host. As you can see, you got the little box. What you're going to notice, though, is the box is going to take up some sort of real estate. Usually it's always right here. Or if they have it where there's multiple people, it's going to be a strip of people here, unless they change the settings, which usually most people don't. So you're going to want to make a slide that then has the right side free, so that way your content isn't covered up. But the reason you want to do this, you're going to want to have your name, your logo. This is the very basic. It doesn't have to look like this, but this is just recommended practice at the very minimum. Something cool about your flow, like a tagline type thing, something that can hop in, read real fast, and like get a feeling of who you are. Reasons they might want to join, some cool things that they get to do by being in your flow. Now, it might seem redundant because you just talked about this in a live stream, but human nature says we sometimes need to be exposed to things at least 3 times. So if you think about it, live stream, meet and greet, informational, that's why we're doing that. But we've also got Facebook. We've also got Instagram, the other live streams, right? You've got 2 rounds of informationals, and that's just what Flack is coordinating. You should be doing some stuff outside of this. So whether that's doing your own posts on social media or sponsoring posts on social media, doing those passive signs on campus, like the yard signs that Flack has put out, we're trying to increase engagement and increase exposure. When your informationals will be. Now, obviously, I listed the live streams here for y'all because that's what Flack is doing. So as a reminder, the one Monday is at 3 o'clock. The other 2, Tuesday and Thursday of the next week, are at 7 p.m. We do recommend putting your dues and financial aid information because this is a question we get a lot of, especially in these very weird different times where like close to 40 million people are unemployed. Financial information and if you offer financial aid plans might be important for you to have just for them to see it. And we recommend not just saying like, this is what it is, but giving like a reason, giving what that goes to. It doesn't have to be like every little thing, but just general, just recommended. And a way to get in contact with you is also highly recommended. Now, this is kind of boring, right? So maybe make it your flow's color is the background, right? Make it pop, make it engaging, make there be nice contrast between the background though and the text, so it's very, very easy to read. Maybe put a picture on here, but what you're going to want to balance is this is not to give them everything. It's not everything in the kitchen sink. It's the stuff that you think is going to sell your flow. Consider this like a billboard with a little bit more information. So that way they're coming in, they're getting to get inspired and maybe give them something to ask you about by scratching the surface and showing it to them. Cool? So maybe a picture on the right-hand side. So if part of it's covered up, it doesn't really matter. But just to invoke emotions. So here's a quick tip. Costco sells, I'm going to use a fun example. Costco sells a barrel of whiskey. I'm not kidding. It's 55 gallons. It costs $9,000. They don't have it there for people to actually buy it. But there's a thing of seeing the aspirational appeal of things makes one's endorphins light up. And so seeing what they could get to do with you is going to make them light up, hopefully, if it's somebody who would also resonate as a member of your flow, right? So picking a picture that's A, appropriate, but B, is engaging, it can really help with this. So have that there because then it'll inspire them to do the other things. The other thing you might want to include on here is different than you've done for any informational in the past, pretty much, because there used to be a one application day, right? Now they can turn in their application tomorrow. And y'all can review it tomorrow. The decision won't go out until after the due date, but y'all could review their application starting tomorrow night. And you should start reviewing as soon as all of your counselors are trained. Absolutely, please do that because then you're going to be able to balance your classes and everything else. This is a weird time, y'all, so getting ahead on things is just a good practice in life. But again, make sure you're trained on how your directors want you to do that and to review them. And I'm going to have another video that's coming out after this one on how to do a review for those who weren't part of the trainings that we did. Okay, so for here, we highly encourage you, the thing I was getting to, is to tell them, hey, if this seems like interest to you, make sure to come to one, if not both of our informationals or these cool other virtual engagements we're doing. But if you're like, this is a group I think I'd really like to be a part of, go on getinvolved.tamu.edu. I'm going to put that on the screen just so we all make sure exactly where to go for the applications. Get involved. You do not need to do all caps. .tamu.edu. It'd help if I could spell. Getinvolved.tamu.edu. that is where we want them to go. They can also go over here on the FLAC page and click apply. And it's not there yet because, again, this is Sunday, and the video goes out. The application goes out tomorrow. So they can go over here. This is again directs them to the YouTube channel. This video goes live at noon tomorrow. It's a 12-minute video on every step of the application process. So the application process is actually very intuitive, but in case there's a freshman who's like, I just don't understand how to work the system, here you go. We made a very comprehensive thing to answer all the little questions, just in case they happen to have them. But honestly, from a user experience, y'all were able to submit over 200 applications during the testing phase in like 3 days. So that was like super easy. And that was a very small sample size of people doing that. So it's a very easy application process, very good user experience. And so in case they want it, though, it's there. So the link to the Get Involved site will be here once the application's live. So just know that. So they can also just go to flac.tamu.edu, click apply. Also, if they go over to the welcome page and they scroll down, there's a button right here that'll take them to that application page as well. Okay, hope that is helpful. I'm going to stop screen share because I don't need to show you that part yet. So now, okay, live streams. Again, we said the person leading the live stream should not be the person who is leading the meet and greet for that day. Y'all have a team for a reason. Don't put everything on one person. That's just very ill-advised. It's not effective. And don't have them as the moderator for that meet and greet either, because they've just been doing something for like 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so for the live stream, for the Monday one, for just in general, actually about live streams get many more viewers after the live streams than during. Live streams get more viewers after than during because we're able to use the link, send it out, all that kinds of stuff. So temper your expectations on how many people are going to be watching the first live stream, especially the second one too, just to put it out there, and the third one for that matter, which then means temper your expectations for the meet and greets. We're hoping actually it's small groups so that way you're able to engage with them more, right? And that's why the meet and greets are recorded, so that way if you want to use it and send it out, you can. But that's also why you have informationals later. But I want just to temper your expectations on view counts during the live stream. Don't get me wrong. We've had pretty much 200,000 impressions on Instagram alone of people, of the posts of the Instagram takeovers showing up in people's feeds and people interacting with it, people going to the FLAC page. That is incredible number. So 200,000 is insane. And y'all have done an amazing job. Thank you for making that happen. That went from 0 to 200,000 in 7 days. But that doesn't mean 200,000 people are going to be going to the live stream. Also, we don't have 200,000 people going to A&M, right? It could be one person viewing each thing like 20 times. So just make sure to understand that and temper expectations, especially as people are trying to move back to College Station or move to College Station or get their books, all that kinds of stuff. But okay, live stream logistics. We have communicated with all those we know of as being the point person for your flow for the live stream. That's important because they're the person who's going to be there, so they need to know all the things. We also CC'd all of the generic flow email addresses that FLAC has on file. So we have one of those for each of you, so all 20 of you. We communicated that if you are the person, you need to be there at 1:50 p.m., and the location is second floor of the MSC outside of Gates Ballroom in the back corner. You can park wherever you want. Just you got to do your own parking thing. Look up the parking map, and you come over there. Be wearing something with your flow on it that's appropriate. Be wearing a mask. Social distancing and mask wearing will be strictly enforced. So do respect that. The live stream, yes, it's scheduled for 3 o'clock. It will go live at 2:50. Now you do that, by the way, because you want people to find the video and know that they're in the right place. The last thing you want is for somebody to be, oh shit, I'm blunt right now. It's the day before tomorrow. Oh shit, am I in the right place? And that fear, if it gets to like 3:01 and for some reason the stream didn't click over, we don't want that tension. Freshmen have had enough of an experience transitioning to the university, right? So the stream will start at 2:50. And Madeline has made a wonderful little bouncing around logo, which lets them know that they're in the right place. It has soothing like elevator music. And then we'll start the stream after that at 3:00 ish, maybe like 3:03, to be honest. So with that being said, though, then what the heck is that person doing for an hour? And we have gotten this question: can you bring more than one person? No, you cannot have more than one person there. If you bring two people, one person will be told to leave. That is because we would no longer be abiding by some health and safety codes. So we cannot have that happen. You get one person, just one person. If that person fails to show, that's why we asked you about the 3 takeaways you want. So that way we can have someone step in and talk about your flow, just in case your representative doesn't happen to show, or if something happens to them while they're there. Just as a heads up, you always build in redundancies. That hour of 150 to 250 is going to be full of your person getting walked through. We're probably going to walk through it once or twice, just so we know the pacing, we know who's going to go when. You get comfortable in the little, if you're the person in the studio, it's not so little. It's about a 12 by 12 with like high walls and a camera screen, and so that way they get used to talking to the camera instead of talking to like looking at the screen. Talking to the camera, looking at the screen. You want to talk to the person. On top of that, we'll run through that. And the reason it's also important is because I'm going to go over to the stream schedule, and I need you to recognize that this might change based on how the first one goes. We're definitely going to learn some lessons, so have some grace, please. But if I go to our live stream schedule, so again, first one starts at 3:00. We're going to open it up at 2:50-ish, so it's going to have a running time of 10 minutes. That's the stream beginning soon thing. Then we're going to have the welcome, expectations, those kind of things. And then also a disclaimer about face masks and why the people are taking off their face mask and speaking. That's because they're the only one in that space. But we want to give that disclaimer, and also to reinforce wearing a mask on campus. Please, if you see people walking around on campus or hanging out in groups on campus, not being socially distant, not wearing a mask, encourage them to do so, because otherwise they're not going to be able to hang out in groups and they're not going to be around. We're all going to be remote. We want to get to the other, and so the only way to do that is to offer respect and talk to them in a good way. Okay? We've got a short, it's like less than a minute video from Christine Gravel, and then we've got 4 flows, and then information about meet and greets. So that's why we were telling you to have your information like your meet and greet up early. 4 flows, and then we'll talk about some of the stuff in the chat. If there's important questions, or if there's not any questions, we're going to interject some commonly asked questions, as well as a video on how to apply. Then we've got 4 more flows, and then we've got, again, checking in on the chat, a short video from the Career Center, 4 more flows, 1 more chat time, 4 more flows, and closing Q&A and a video on how to find the links again to the meet and greets, and then a closing slide similar to yours that's just going to be pushing people to the meet and greets. That's going to air for a while and say this video has ended. We encourage you to go to the meet and greets if you're watching this on whatever date. Now, if you notice on the right-hand side here, I've got length of time. Obviously, it's 10 minutes before, so 10-ish minutes. Welcome, things like that, 5 minutes. Video from StuAct, built in a little extra time just in case the welcome goes long. If you notice, every flow says 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I communicated out to all of the flows that you get 2 minutes. These 30 seconds are not for you to talk longer. It's when you go up there, taking off your mask. It's the transition time, you leaving, the next person coming in. And then... and so that's why there's 2 minutes, 30 seconds built in, because you need to build in not just the how long are they speaking, but the things around that. So if we're to add up all these little times, if this goes exactly on schedule, it will end about 4:22 p.m. So if you're Fishco, which has already reached out to me of like, how do I balance this, doing the meet and greet, things like that, you can't. because you're not going to have the time. Maybe if you are one of these first ones, you could definitely hop on your meet and greet because you might have an hour before the meet and greet start, just to put it out there. But as soon as your person is done, they can leave. Like leave unless they want to hang around for some reason. But just again, socially distant, things like that. Wearing a mask. Now, the important thing though is, let's say every flow gets real excited and only talks for like 30 seconds or a minute. Then all these times are going to be cut down by a lot, so we might end early. So with that being said, it's going to be important for whoever is leading the meet and greet to be paying attention. And honestly, if you start seeing, honestly, when it gets to the Career Center video is probably when you should start having your meet and greet live. The Career Center video is probably when you should start having your meet and greet live. But also, here's the opposite. If some of these go longer, and don't get me wrong, we're going to be ushering people off if they're still speaking and they're way over time. So do not tempt that, because the longer we're in that space, the longer it's going to cost Flack to also use that space, which is, it's already expensive to do this because it's a lot of technology. It's a lot of people behind the scenes and a lot of work that's gone into it. So thank you for understanding. We encourage you to practice because it's going to show off that much better. Practice, and talk in front of a mirror, record yourself to see if you got it down for your 2 minutes and to really sell it. If these go longer though, this time could be longer. So what's important for you to do is just kind of stay attuned to what's going on. And we thank you for doing that and for staying engaged for this long, but then making it be ready for then after, okay? And honestly, if it goes a little long, if we take some extra time with the Q&A, things like that, that might not hurt because then the stream is available longer and people could have found it maybe more often. So it might help. We don't know. We're going to see how it goes. But again, these times and not order, all the flows are going to go in the same order. That's not changing. But some of the pacing on some of this, we might change for live streams 2 and 3. So I know that's a lot. I know I just went through a lot. It looks like I've been speaking for like 27 minutes according to my little clock right here, which by the way, you can enable in Zoom if you want. But it was a lot of information that we've been getting questions about, so we wanted to make sure to share it with you. Again, we thank you for everything you've been doing. We thank you for stewarding this process. We thank you for pushing all flow involvement, period, and then switching over to individual flow recruitment the 26th. We also wish the best for you as you start classes back up, and hope that you and everybody else in your family and friends are safe and are maintaining things to be safe. Please, please, please be student leaders, be leaders, and get our community to be one where we can actually have a community and not just only be remote. Because I know you all want that. So let's do the things we need to do to make it happen. Again, I'm going to send out another video on how to, that one's going to be real short, on how to review an application. Real short in comparison to this one. But this is all important for you. Thank you for what you're doing. If you have any questions, reach out to myself, Marley, and Madeline. I don't know why I said Madison. Madeline. It's been a long day already, y'all. See you later.